The Haunted Mansion inches forward while Tiana's Bayou Adventure speeds ahead. Trouble at Earls continues while the new bag check at downtown Disney is having no trouble at all. Great news from great moments, bad news from the Golden Horseshoe. And while this doesn't look great at Critter Country, there may be good news yet here as well. We'll reveal it all, so stay tuned, but let's start on the Mark Twain and get the latest from the Haunted Mansion. The good news here, I guess, to begin with, is that there's no sign of any kind of Mount Gracie as seen from the Adventureland treehouse. I mean, we still see a lot of demo, and that wall back there is a little bit interesting. But no sign of big piles of dirt, which is always nice. That's where we want to be at this point. Although things appear to have slowed down quite a bit. I'm certainly less optimistic today than I was even just a couple weeks ago. I don't know where we're at. Like, how close are we? From the Mark Twain, you can see again a very clean sight line over the wall. Nothing but equipment and fall protection. But no Mount Gracie there as well. This is the main entrance of Haunted Mansion. Those wooden stakes there in the ground are about where the grass would be, that fake grass, and obviously the pet cemetery with the green scrim. And then the retaining wall in the background. I mean, this looks very much like the view we've seen for the past month or so. I was really hoping to be further along visually at this point. Not that I have, any saying things, but I'm just saying, I just wish it's starting to get a little bit, I don't know, I feel a certain kind of way about this right now. Like, I was just thinking back about the views that we used to have from the Mark Twain as you'd float by. And you kind of take it for granted, I guess, now looking back as we watch this film. This is from July, I think, of last year, and it was kind of nice, just having a nice, clean view. Remember when we were upset about the walkway, and like that was the biggest deal? Oh man! And here we are today, and a just totally devastated queue for Haunted Mansion. I mean, I know it's going to work out in the end. I have full faith that Disney's going to make something wonderful, just like the pathways in New Orleans Square. That worked out. Who's even talking about the paths anymore? But here's our look as we keep going further down the way at the queue. This is more like the garden area now. The trench is still there. Man, it was really bright on this day. I was shooting this differently than I have in the past. I'm not using Grandpa here. I'm actually using my new phone. It has decent zoom and slow-mo. Let's go back to the front of the mansion. One thing I'm noticing is that they did preserve quite a bit of the trees and bushes and stuff like that here. The brickwork and the concrete and the lawn has been dug up, but they are leaving a lot of that color in there, which is nice. Just that one little brick wall remains that separates the front queue from the rear queue. You can see the fall protection still there behind it, so that means they still got a big hole back there. That means they're still working on the elevator, because that's pretty much on the other side of that brick wall and that grassy wall there, where the retaining wall is behind that. That's the focal point of this construction. The access to the backstage areas, the old crypt entrance. That's where most of the focus is on this update. But everything is being touched, including the very front entrance to Haunted Mansion, and then there is the exit. We're still waiting, though, for something to happen there. We'll get another look at that in a minute. It's just nothing, man. It's just nothing. I want to report on something forward and positive. This is from the Disneyland Railroad steps over there by Tiana's Palace. And again, I was hoping to see something here, but it's just dirt, no mountain, but the trucks, they get in the way. I can't see what they're doing here. There was no activity on this day, even though it was in the middle of the afternoon. No activity out here. So I couldn't see what they were working on, and the trucks obviously obscure our view. I tried again from the pathway in front of Tianas Bayou Adventure. Nothing but equipment, man. And the New Orleans Square train station. Here again is that look at that crypt exit. This is where the new gift shop is going to go. You can see that they have stripped that middle building there. They have stripped the facade off of that. Now that's We don't have a lot of background on that building, so I thought I'd go back and look at some old footage. There's the, you can mark the crypt exit there, that triangular roof pattern there. We can see that clearly from the path here. There's the triangular roof there. It's that building next to it that's they're stripped, that building back there. By the way, notice that they have cleared all of this out as well. This is completely obliterated. All that's left are those two structures there. But all that is gone, and in its place soon will be a pretty new Madame Leota themed gift shop. So that's the Haunted Mansion. Not exactly a beacon of positivity this episode, this update, and I'm sorry to report. So let's get on the monorail and head to downtown Disney. Check out the backside of the retail building. They have installed the trees. The trees have been planted in the planter. It looks like they're getting ready to put in whatever landscaping they're going to do there in that planter, which is nice. That's a positive direction forward. This building from the back looks finished, does it not? Like if they're just doing that part, that looks good. Speed ahead, and look at that. They've got scrim up now. So not only are we, getting nothing but steel in our previous trips by here, this monorail visit may be pointless pretty soon. I'm afraid. They've got scrim up now on the back side of this building, so we cannot see whatever it is that they're constructing. Super secret. So we'll just have to take our views from the platform at the monorail. They have actually, you can see that they have built and they've installed the roof. That is done now on the top, on the the main section there of the Parkside Market. So we've got a roof. Roof. I get mocked all the time for the way I say roof. We'll check in on Earls next. Actually, I'm curious. I'm walking this path because I'm wondering what the future is of this entrance. They're installing a new one, which we're going to look at in a minute, but are they going to keep this bag check? They've gone to a lot of lengths to install new concrete here. That's been completely refreshed. Matter of fact, they're still working on it. But I wonder, because it was difficult to discern what exactly their plan was from that update we got last week from Mickey Visit. I may have to check with somebody on this. But I don't expect, I'm thinking now that it's not likely that they're going to update this bag check in the same way that they're doing the new bag check on the other side of Din Tai Fung. You know what? Let's get into that actually from the rear of the work site, because I got a pretty good view here today, right through that scrim, and it looks like they've made quite a bit of progress here. It's nearly finished, I would say. The concrete is there, the planters are done. There's a little bit of concrete right here in the foreground, and they do actually have to finish that shade structure, but they've made quite a bit of progress on the actual bag check setup. You can see they've installed the tables where security would examine bags. You could set stuff down there, which was something I was wondering about. If we're getting those tables, then it's likely that we're still going to have at least something resembling a traditional bag check, traditional for Disneyland anyway. At Walt Disney World, for example, they have the pass-through scanners where you can just walk through, and the only time you have to check a bag is if there's an alert. So, and they only have, I think it was just one or two stations, basically one or two benches for security to examine a bag. I'm seeing those tables, those benches, or whatever you want to call those, at every lane, which tells me that they're going to have security at every lane checking bags. So I'm not sure what those other vertical installations are for. If that's, I don't know, man. I'm not sure. But getting back to the bag check at downtown Disney parking lot, I don't expect them to install that same setup here, I guess is what I'm saying. I can't take the camera all the way in there because I feel like they're going to leave this as a temporary setup, and they very well could do the same for the entrance over there by the Disneyland Hotel. And part of that could be maybe very early planning for for Disneyland Forward. Do you think that's possible? I feel like it's too early for that, but they don't want to do anything permanent built in because there's going to be a lot of evolving for Disneyland Forward, and they don't want to. Why invest a bunch of money? I don't know, man. That's a tough one. We're going to find out in a few months, though. We're going to find out. We'll keep checking. Let's check, actually, on Earl of Sandwich while we're down here. Last week, we got to look through the window. It was completely empty inside. Last week, completely empty. There were crew in there, but it was completely empty. Today, sorry, they've closed it up. So I can't look inside there, but I have a bad feeling. I have a really bad feeling about Earls Sandwich. In so much as this building being used and there being any sort of imminent progress on building the new Earls and for Portos. Can I just, guys, if they don't build Portos in downtown Disney, I'm going to be really, really upset because I love Portos. Portos is great. It's delicious. The treats are great. The food is good. The prices are good. They have just a wonderful operation. I've always been very impressed every time I go to Portos. It's just a great operation. And that would have been an outstanding addition to downtown Disney. And I hope that those rumors are not true about Portos trying to back out of building that building at the current site of Earls Sandwich, formerly La Brea Bakery. That would, I'm really hoping that that's not the case, and I hope they can work it out. I want to see Portos. I also want to see Din Tai Fung. This building is starting to take shape. We're starting to see what looks like a final version of the building. I guess they are finished with the paint there on that. Rumor has it that Din Tai Fung is going to be ready to open in about a month, mid-June. Looking for something around mid-June for Din Tai Fung to open. They're hiring staff right now. They're training staff. Well, they have been. And there have been folks spotted on site in the building. Plus, we have a sign. We have a Din Tai Fung sign out here on the side of the building. That's always a positive sign. We saw something similar at Paseo. They installed the signs near the end. So I feel like we're probably about a month away from Din Tai Fung opening, and that's going to be an amazing day. I can't wait. I have heard many good things about Din Tai Fung, and I can't wait to try them for myself. And I would have to think, by the way, that if they're ready to open Din Tai Fung, that they'd have to be near ready to open that bag check as well. They're still working on the concrete over there by the Star Wars Trading Post. Fences are still up, but it looks done inside. Looks nearly done. So hopefully that'll be ready to go probably in that same time period by mid-June. And I have to think, wouldn't it be logical to assume that if Din Tai's ready to go in June, maybe so too will this building? Are we a month away from the retail building as well? I would love to see them open both of these at the same time. Let's get into the park, go to Disneyland, check in on City Hall. Last week we reported or showed that the scrim and scaffold were down. The scrim is down now also at the little patio area at Walt's apartment, but there is still work being done up there. You can see some steel. That's steel up there on that patio. They're constructing something new up there. Isn't that interesting? I wish we had a better view of that, but man, you got to be pretty lucky to get up in there. You really got to be pretty lucky. Go take the tour. Take the Walt Disney apartment tour, and you might have a shot at that. Get yourself a cookie. Now that scrim is down, new scrim is up on Main Street. This at the Emporium, the side of the Emporium that is right next to that backstage gate where the vehicles come in. And it sounds like it's a little bit more than just paint, because there was some whooping and hollering behind that scrim. Not just, like hammering, So they're doing something to that exterior, but probably nothing that'll be guest facing. We probably won't notice it when they're done, which is the way it should be. But this is something that we see them do. They'll work this stuff in phases. Every couple of years, these facades get an update, like this little stretch right here on Main Street next to the Silhouette Studio. That's behind a construction wall and a scrim. So probably paint and polish there every year, every summer, every winter, we get this. Back at Town Square, great moments with Mr. Lincoln. The show is closed. We've reported that on that previously. You can still go in. You can still visit and check out the 100th exhibit. And you can go even look at the Capitol building or anything else inside there. But the show is closed. Why we're talking about this is that there's a permit filed that shows a $5 million permit. $5 million worth of updates being done to the show itself. That is great news for great moments. That is a significant amount of money considering this attraction, which is not exactly beloved, in the sense that people don't go visit it. It's not a popular attraction, but it is beloved to those who really appreciate the history of the park, and whether or not it's a thing that they go check in on every week. Personally, I would never want to see this go. I don't want to see this updated at all, ever. I want it to stay just like it is. There's a lot of history in that room, a lot of history in this building. The building itself is history. I don't want to go down that path, yet or right now, but the great news here is that Disney is still interested in preserving this, and that they aren't trying to, overly monetize every square foot of the park, which was something that had been, they've been accused of in the past. So the fact that they're willing to put in $5 million worth of updates to Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, I'm very appreciative of that. And I just want to note that because people like to spend a lot of time, banging on Disney about this, that, or the other, and they fail to observe the good news, the good things that are done around the parks. This is one of them. Making a commitment to Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln is a great move. Here's a move I don't like from Disney at the Golden Horseshoe. There's no more shows here. Not even the piano player. There is not a single live show on the schedule for Golden Horseshoe. The stage is vacant indefinitely. This used to be such a historical place, considering all the great shows, Wally Bogue and etc., the great shows that they've done at the Golden Horseshoe. And there's just been a slow and steady decline in the quality of the shows that are done here. We've had Laughingstock, Billy Hill, and then it was the dueling pianos, and then it was just one piano, and now it's no piano. And that's a sad state of affairs. Live entertainment is essential to the Golden Horseshoe because I promise you, most people are not going into the Golden Horseshoe for the high quality dining experience vis-a-vis the food. The food is not good here. The food is not great. It's just chicken strips and fish and chips and a salad. So nobody's going in here to have a great they are going in, or we're going in for a unique dining experience, but they've taken the actual experience part of that equation out, and now it's just food. And that cannot sustain. There's just no way, you guys. We can't have that. We can't have that, right? So while I'm super happy about Great Moments, I am super bummed about the stories that I've heard that they're. We don't know if it's because they've got something else planned. We're going to cross our fingers, but let's just look at the history. I just mentioned you went from, Wally Bogue and that great show that they used to do with the dancers and all that, to Billy Hill, and then the Laughingstock Company. Then they got rid of that and they put in the dueling pianos, which lasted a minute. And then just the piano player, which, by the way, I love that piano guy. He's great. I love him. But this is supposed to be home for a big production. Well, at least that was its intent. So I see no indication of Disney reversing course. The trend, obviously, is in the wrong direction. Unless they do a complete reversal and flip the script and go all the way back to a big production in there. But like I said, what they're doing, in the past does not suggest that that's likely, and that bums me out. What also bums me out, I'm sorry to say, here we go. Rancho, you may have heard us discuss this in our live stream on Thursday. They have changed the menu quite a bit. Gone are the red enchiladas and the traditional half chicken that they served here before, although they have replaced it with another chicken dish, the pollo asado. The burrito Sonora is still here, but now we have a Sonora bowl and a soy chorizo con papa tacos. Carne asada fries, that's new. And then the chicken Caesar salad. My gosh, the taco salad is gone. They have also replaced the rice and beans. They used to come with the burrito Sonora and with the red enchiladas. Those are off the menu completely. But now with the burrito, you're getting chips, tortilla chips, instead of rice and beans. I don't know why they did this. I honestly don't know why. You guys, the rice and beans aren't gone. They didn't get rid of rice and beans. They're just not included. If you would like some, you have to ask for it and pay extra. Yeah, right. This is just a pure money-saving, money-earning move. They want you to pay for the rice and beans instead of just getting it as part of your meal now. By the way, I'll say this is not a Disney-specific issue. This is happening all over the place. Shrinkflation conversation we had. They don't want to charge you more because obviously people are really upset about paying more for everything, inflation, etc. So they're doing the opposite. Instead of raising the prices, they're going to charge you the same, but then give you less. Or in some cases, like I've seen in other theme parks, They don't raise the prices. They just add 10% to your bill at the end. That plus, it's just a surcharge. Here's your meal is $20, plus we're gonna make you pay $2 more just because. I hate it. It's not right, and I'm upset about that. I don't know if that's right for this particular video, but there we are. That's something that's the bad news of our dining experience. We're gonna go to our next location. We got to keep moving. I'm gonna head back to New Orleans Square. Got some lunch at Tianas Palace. First time I've used their mobile order, which is all right. It works quickly. You do get it in these plastic trays though, which I'm not crazy about. I got the half chicken here. It was all right. Half chicken's okay. It's not how I like my chicken. Mac and cheese was great. The coleslaw was pretty good, and I also got the lavender lemonade, which was surprisingly good. So fun lunch here at Tianas Palace. We'll keep this show moving because we got to go check out Tianas Bayou Adventure. We'll climb the treehouse, see what's going on at the top. Looks the same. Actually, I almost want to say that they've cleared out that entry. Yeah, that right there, that where those rocks are, that's the drop. I feel like they've finished that up a little bit as well. You almost wouldn't believe that that's actually the hole in the mountain where the flume vehicles drop out. But otherwise, things look about pretty standard from up here. So let's get into something interesting. Let's get on the Disneyland Railroad. Actually, before we do that, Peter 2 sighting, you guys. How exciting. I heard him clapping with guests, and I couldn't believe it. There he is, and he saw me. He saw me. Hi, Peter. It's so good to see you. Let's go to Critter Country via the Disneyland Railroad and take a look at what's happening. And that is close up first of the current state of the path of Critter Country. This is the path that connects the Briar Patch, which will come into view here in a second. The Briar Patch to the rear part of Critter Country. But they have dug up all of the concrete. All of the concrete has been removed. People mentioned that you could see a lot of cutting lines in the concrete last week, and they said look for there to be dirt next week, which is exactly what we got. That tarp back there, that is the Briar Patch. So try to use your imaginations here. Or actually, you know what? Here's a clip. Here's a clip of what it looked like back in 2019. Before the walls, before everything. And here we are today. You can see, by the way, they've closed up the Winnie the Pooh entrance there as well. They've dug up a lot of concrete there in front of the Winnie the Pooh ride. There's a look down at the flume track. We've seen water there recently, but it is dry at the moment. They've still got some concrete left to dig up right there. You can see that's concrete that is yet to be removed. This path right here to the right of the tree, that is the old queue path. It looks like they're preserving that. So guests are still going to find some way to get onto that path and queue up parallel to the show building there, the mountain. But they have removed everything else. All that old space down there. I've got footage of that as well, you guys. This is that path itself. I believe we're standing right next to or near to the Briar Patch. That's a look back up the path as you come down from the front of the attraction. There's the Briar Patch to the right. So all of that landscaping is gone, obviously. The little birdhouse thing, the well is gone. All of that landscaping and everything down there is gone. This is all gone. This is where the old Fast Pass station was. They're going to turn all of this into queue space. Everything that's in frame right now is demolished and will become a new queue, which is going to look delightful, I promise. But that's our current state of things today. As we get back to our view from the train, so there's the path we were just standing on, shooting all that footage. And then behind that tree, between the Briar Patch and that path, that's, you know, the old Fast Pass station right there. That's going to be queue space. They're going to try to, it looks like they're going to try to level that down a little bit. You can see a lot of concrete, a lot of rubble there. My guess is that they're going to try to build some switchbacks in that space and then create some sort of ramp to connect. You can see that white space there right exactly between the Briar Patch and that tree. That's a raised area. You're going to have to create a little hill to bring guests up to that path, and then they'll make a U-turn and come back down the path that exists now. Oh my gosh. I just hope that they don't try to put up scrim on the other side of this train, because I'm gonna enjoy watching that develop. But we're not done here yet. We're gonna turn the camera around, which is something that I don't think I have ever done before while on the train. I've never looked at this side of the tracks at Critter Country. I mean, there you go. There's another big pile of rocks, cut up path, concrete down there on the ground. And there's the main entrance behind scrim, which we're still waiting for. But this, I mean, we are going to get to see if they do anything, if they, if they paint the building, if they put any kind of art or anything on there. We are going to get to see that, but we're not going to get to see is anything back there towards Pooh Corner. They got some fencing up there. My finger is in the shot. I apologize. I'm new to this phone, and I didn't realize. Anyway, so we're not going to get to see the rear part of the land back there, which is starting to come into frame a little bit. Tiana's tunnel and that kind of thing. We're done with that. But we will get to see if they do anything to the entrance to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Finally, let's get back out around to the front of Tiana's, catch up on a few of those stories happening at the drop. Each week I find myself liking this just as much as I did the previous week. Nothing that I'm seeing so far is detracting me from my enjoyment of how this mountain is evolving. I'm really enjoying this a lot. This is from the far left side, panning towards the drop. There's the lift barn. And we're just seeing, foliage being added throughout. I just hope that this looks as good on the ground as you walk by it as it does, over the fence. One thing is that we're a little bit lower to the surface of the attraction than you would be at Magic Kingdom. So it's going to be above us a little bit. I hope that doesn't detract from the view. This looks great. I'm happy with it. Let's see if we can see anything at the drop. The scaffolding is still removed. There we go. Yes. So you got a little fall protection right there. Some 2x4s are set up. But we can see definitely those are, I don't want to call them strings, ropes, because they're not rope, but that's for Mama Odie. The lighting effects for Mama Odie. Outstanding. We're going to see those lit soon. Let's turn around. Take a look on the other side of the path. Where, just as I had predicted, they're going to be doing something to the lip of that section there of foliage, and we can see that they're adding some mesh. So that's probably just to finish off that edge of that rock work there. It's not going to be any kind of special effect. They're just finishing it off. Because that was really chipped away and kind of haggard looking. But I wonder still if they're going to fill in with some kind of soil or something else is going to be placed in that upper area. And then down below, they got more guys working. This is probably electrical. We saw gaps, holes in the rock work there in the side of the mountain. So that's probably for electrical, for some sort, either an effect or audio. See that little black hole right there on that rock work? That looks to me now like speaker. That could be a speaker right there. They've removed the scaffolding from the water tower to reveal more vines attached and running around the legs of that water tower, which looks terrific. I kind of would have been okay with more, to be honest. More. I would have been okay with more. Look at the supports. They've dressed the supports with the same sort of, vines entangling themselves around those supports. That looks great. It wasn't that long ago where that little outcropping, that little Pride Rock outcropping there was just bare. It was gray concrete, gray rock work, and now it's got color and foliage. I mean, the whole thing is just looking great. And it's happening. It feels like this is happening quicker at this point in construction than it did at Magic Kingdom. There again, there's that Pride Rock. Super nice. I wonder if they're going to fill in the blanks there on the surface, if they're going to make that green as well. What am I looking at here? Oh, I want to see, yeah. There's some flowers. These are the flowers that we saw last week that I thought might be magnolias. I don't know what they are, but let's see if we can get a little closer look. Looks looks really great, you guys. This looks great. Mardi Gras season is coming up. Don't forget. And that, you guys, is a lot. That is a lot to take in, man. I wasn't expecting to feel, I don't know, as emotionally connected to Critter Country until they started doing all that. And then I started looking back at that old footage and reminiscing, I guess, if you will, and being mournful of the things we've lost. But I don't want to spend too much time on that because I do feel very confident. I do feel very inspired by what I've seen so far. You know, what we've seen from Magic Kingdom, what I've seen from the models and the concept art about what they're going to do with that queue space down there next to Briar Patch. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. That's construction. Let me update you guys real quick on the refurb schedule. This is the good news about Critter Country. We teased this in the opening. There is good news for Critter Country specifically. It is closed, obviously. And it'll be that way for a little while. But according to the refurb calendar, the Briar Patch and Pooh Corner, they're going to be open on June 9th. It shows that Winnie the Pooh is still closed, but not the Briar Patch or Pooh Corner. June 9th, only Winnie the Pooh is closed. June 9th, the Briar Patch and Pooh Corner are open. Does that mean we could get back there? They're going to do whatever they got to do in a month? That's good news, but it also seems unlikely considering the state of concrete right now. They've spent more than a month doing what they're doing over there at the Star Wars Trading Post, updating that. They're still fixing that. They've been working on that for a couple of months. You're saying you could do all that you need to do in a month? I don't think so. But, I mean, it's a reason to be hopeful, at least, that they might open things up. Maybe, I don't know, man. I don't know. So that's Critter Country. Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln is closed. We mentioned that earlier. There is no opening date. We're just going to have to wait for them to spend that $5 million. The Columbia is closing. Well, actually, it'll be closed by the time you see this. It's open today as I record this, but on Sunday it'll close and will remain closed until May 23rd. That's in preparation for Fantasmic, which opens the day after that. Redwood Creek Challenge is closed. Has been for a while, but it has fallen off the refurb calendar as of June 21st. On June 21st, it is not on the refurb calendar, so it should be open. The Bodine Bakery Tour is closed. That'll remain closed until June 2nd. And Cocina is closed, and that'll remain closed until May 25th. On June 21st, when Redwood Creek Challenge reopens, there is nothing on the refurb schedule at DCA. The park should be, quote unquote, 100% fully operational. How about that? How about that? All right, so that's Disneyland. Let's hop on a plane and head to Florida to check in on Epic Universe and some more amazing photographs as provided by BioReconstruct. We're going to start at the main entrance. What you're looking at here is the main entrance. That's the main portal to Celestial Park, which is like Main Street, if you will. And that's the first portal you go through. They're constructing that. We've seen this. They did one of those promotional renderings, concept renderings, concept animations for Celestial Park, which looks incredible. And that is what they're calling the Chronos. You're going to pass through that. So this is a very exciting time. It kind of, just looking at this and trying to imagine, because we've seen the concept art and we've seen the art, trying to imagine what's going to, the evolution of this space. I got to tell you, I don't know how Alicia over at Theme Park Stop or BioReconstruct, I don't know how they maintain their chill. Watching this happen. There's another shot of Kronos. How intimate they have been with following this, in the same way that I was with Galaxy's Edge. They are, well, he's that way with every project that's going on around, but Alicia specifically, in terms of her videos, there's a long view of the Kronos. That's actually from inside the park. Now you've passed through and you're inside the park. I still can't get my head around this animation from the concept animation. I can't get my head around what it is that we're going to be seeing. It looks otherworldly. It doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before. And as you know, we'll discuss this later, but they've built something they are building something very unique, in my opinion. They have installed a dome on top of the hotel that's at the rear of the park, Helios. Another smaller one to its right in frame. And then if we take an even longer look, you can see one down there on the ground, which I would imagine, if symmetry is a thing here, they're going to put it right there. That's my guess. Now, when you talk about things that get me excited and emotional, and the hair starts to come up on my skin, I get the tingles when I look at this. That's the hotel facing Celestial Park as you enter. That's going to be, well, here, this is the concept art. That's going to be water there. That's going to be a carousel in that lower, in the lower right third there. More water around that. The view from those hotel rooms that face that, and there's going to be theme park happening all around you at the same time. As you look out your window here, if you're in that room, on your right, that's the Dark Universe. On your left is Harry Potter. The view from here, it could be this. They could be building the greatest thing that has ever been constructed in the theme park universe, in my opinion. I don't know if I'm, feeding into the hype at all, like, because people are excited about Epic Universe, but just I love the idea of a hotel on property. I love on-property hotels. The one at Disneyland Paris is fantastic, but that one's at the entrance. Guys, this is at the back of the park. Okay? This is the rear of the park. You've got the whole park in front of you like this. You have to go through the park to get to the hotel? I mean, not when you... I'm sure there's an arrival on the other side, and then but God, good gravy. That will be the most... They're going to do a whole World of Color type show in that first lake there. You're going to get a bird's eye view of that. But just the amount of energy and emotion that you're going to feel, the excitement, seeing all that park happen. I mean, that's part of being there. That's like half the show for me. Just being able to be present in that environment will be incredible. I can't think of a thing that I want to do more anywhere in any theme park, Disneyland or anywhere else. I can't think of anything I want to do more than get a hotel room in that hotel, one that's facing all that. That's going to be incredible. Starfall, Starfall Racers. They're doing vehicle testing. That is a Starfall ride vehicle. Very loopy track. We looked at this last time. There's another vehicle being tested there. This is a trip. This image, you can see track going over the show building. That feels like something that I would do, like if I were building a track in Roller Coaster Tycoon or Mod Nation Racers. If I was building my own racetrack, I'd be like, hey, let's put it over the building. That'd be amazing. Like, it's just so random. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. I think that's really, really neat. Another ride vehicle testing there. I'm looking forward to riding that roller coaster. It doesn't look too... I mean, it's loopy, but is it loops? I don't even know. I have to go back and look, but it looks like the kind of coaster that I would enjoy. Speaking of things that I am super excited about, super interested in experiencing, is Dark Universe. More than any other land at this park, more than Donkey Kong Country, Harry Potter, anything. I want to see Dark Universe. Being able to live in, or to experience the world of Frankenstein and Dracula. It's one thing to watch the movies and have a sort of nostalgia for that, but to be able to go back in time. You talk about a time and place. That's what I love about going to theme parks, is traveling to another time and place. Main Street is a time and place that we can only see in photographs, but you get to live it when you're on Main Street. There are other worlds that are fantasy, like Galaxy's Edge or Cars Land or How to Train Your Dragon, but this is kind of a real thing. I don't want to say it's history, but it's more reality based than anything else, and that's what makes me interested. And that's what you're seeing here. That's the portal, the main portal. Guests enter that spire right there, which is a Frankenstein type, the electricity thing where he draws power and then it electrifies Frankenstein. It's a monster, and he comes to life. It's kind of like that. You travel through that portal, you come out the other side, through that A-frame type building there, and then walk around that path and into the village. And there again, there's another view. Go through the portal, through the A-frame building. That wooded path right there is going to be concrete later. Those are tombstones. It's like a grave site all around the place. And then as you keep going, you'll find the werewolf coaster, which is right next to the manor. I didn't realize until today that those two are so proximate to one another. Werewolf coaster on the left, the Frankenstein attraction on the right. It's going to be like a dark ride, very much like Forbidden Journey, Harry Potter, from my understanding. Here's another look at the exterior queue for the werewolf coaster. They put in a lot of landscaping, a lot of trees have been planted since we've looked at this last, and you can see they're constructing coverings there for the launch perhaps, or the return. I'm not sure which. And another queue element back there in the top right or top left corner. Still not sure what they're building there. That's extended queue for the Frankenstein dark ride. We're mentioning that here because they are now in tree planting mode. That was dirt not long ago, but now we have concrete and the beginnings, the exterior queue space is being developed and we're getting trees there. That's always great. Here's Super Nintendo World, a very high, long view, and you can see that it's almost dystopian in the way that the entire land is encased in that green wall. It's something out of like the Maze Runner. If I have my young adult sci-fi correct. It's this hidden fortress, this hidden land, obscured entirely by these giant green walls, and then inside is a magical kingdom, which has lots of fun for everyone. Like this, that's Peach Castle. Under development, it's certainly more involved than the Peach Castle we have at Hollywood. Peach Castle is basically just the entrance to the land. It's the portal into the land. You pass through the green tube, and on the other side, if you turn around, you'll see Peach Castle. Here, it's a whole place. It's a whole place that you can visit. There's steps that you can climb up to get there. And there's a whole kind of land-ish feeling to that space out there. You get to get a really high view of the rest of the land as well, which I love. You can see the purple sheathing is up for the turrets around the castle. This will all become kind of a white, gold, and pink color scheme. They will not be purple. That's just sheathing. Here's a longer view from the other side, and you can see a little more color being added, in addition to the purple turrets there, just sheathing. But for example, that green thing right there in the middle of the frame-ish, next to that one of the purple turrets, that's one of the mini games. You can see this now at Super Nintendo World in Hollywood. That's the rolling Goomba game. Guests will get in there and they'll be able to make that thing roll and try to catch a Goomba. Look at that. Talk about color. Whew. Man, Yoshi's, you guys. I love Yoshi. Who doesn't love Yoshi, right? Man, this is the sort of people mover-like attraction in the land. Looks great. I want to ride Yoshi, people mover ride so bad. So bad. More Yoshi, just making his way around the park, around the land. Looks great. Yoshi. Awesome. Looks like he's going inside the building as well, so it's not all outside. Just like a people mover. There's Donkey Kong Country, a very long view. Another site that has me really excited, really curious to see how this is going to go. We're seeing a lot more of that gold surface starting to reveal itself here on this building facade. This whole scene right here doesn't look like much right now, but the final product is going to be spectacular. It's going to be epic. We'll get a closer look, and these are Bio-Reconstruct had detailed 4 points to note here in this shot, which is great. Number one, there's going to be a waterfall right here. Okay, and the waterfall is going to be part of a larger view, a larger experience to see. And then that water is going to feed down here towards number 2. This is that track part we've been talking about in recent episodes where track jumping segment, it's going to drift over that water and then reconnect with the track on the other side. But that water is going to flow under and through that, and then probably around to the other side as well, I would imagine. Number 3 here, that's actually going to be a treat stand. You're going to get treats right here, which is great. It's going to look wonderful. It's going to look like a hut, obviously, but you can see the beginnings of how that's going to become that hut. And then number 4, per bio, a pair of green screaming pillars. What they're going to do, what that feature will be in the end, hard to say, but that's, that's the amount of entertainment that's going to be provided here, I feel like is going to be incredible. I am really, really looking forward to. They have this whole, the way that they're setting this up, you guys, could be the portal setup. Like, for example, what we saw there with the entrance to the Dark Universe has the potential to be the greatest sort of feat of design ever in the theme park universe. And again, I hope I'm not overselling this, and I could be wrong, but I've just never seen anything like this. I've never seen somebody go and do their own thing. It's very Walt Disney, you guys. It's very they did something that I don't think has really been done before. I feel like they just said, we're going to make our own park. We're going to we're going to reinvent the theme park world. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I hope. I don't want to be let down. That's our show, guys. That's our construction update. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy our show and want to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. You can also follow us on Instagram at _freshbaked, on Twitter at freshbakedisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at freshbakedisney. If you like our show, I already said that. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh baked.